things with the bigs. Where are you right now? Like, what do you see? What have you learned?
I think the understanding that we still have a job to do to learn more about pairings. You know, we want to see Nerlens and Joel a little bit. You know, I think the Jaleel Joel pairing we've seen. We've seen them separated, and you know, a lot of discussion has gone into all of this, I understand. But I think it's fair to say mostly that there is nothing like 100% certain with all of this. And when I say all of it, I mean all those scenarios that I've just said that gives us hesitation to not look at some things. We have a situation in the next 4.5 weeks where I think it's 6 back-to-backs, you know, where Joel won't play. And I'm thrilled to have those bigs, you know, under those circumstances. It's really sort of gives you depth, and you can see how you can rotate that. All of that is a part of where I am at and what we've learned.
You had said that you've seen a lot, but you didn't know if you had seen enough of Joe and Josh. So do you plan on still using them together?
I think over the course of the year, you're going to see different things, you know, to do it maybe as much as I have done it. I don't believe that will be the case, but there will be times that you're going to see them paired up just through situations, through foul trouble, through injury. And so I feel like the mistake we could all get into, led by me, is to like categorically stamp off on anything. It is incredibly fluid still, and will be while we have all of these bigs on the team. I feel like the clarity comes a little bit more when you talk about Joel not playing in back-to-backs. And as I said, I think that I think that there is 6 in the next 5 weeks. But that's where you see just a little bit of daylight.
Will you go Ja and Joe tomorrow against the Timberwolves?
We will look at that. We are looking at that. Would probably not want to talk about that right now. It's a fair question. But it's all right now, you know, being assessed, and it has been really a lot as time has unfolded, and certainly over the past few days while we have not been together.
Go ahead, Brad.
Stepping back in the last 2 months, how much has Joel's consistency made your job easier? It seems like you pretty much kind of know what you get out of game to game.
I mean, the game changes. You know, our stability changes. Our defensive presence changes. You feel like you're rewarding in crunch time somebody that, you know, we all understand how important he is to the future of the organization. And so apart from just the stability talent-wise that he brings, there is a growth that he's been able to go through now of playing in, you know, multiple games and playing a consistent basis and truly sort of being more a part of a team than, you know, a rent-a-guy every so often. He's now completely sort of immersed in the team, less back-to-backs. And I think from everybody's perspective, that gives the group and certainly myself stability on how to best play it.
If you envisioned where he would be come the holidays, meaning Joel, compared to where he is now, are they anywhere close? Like, did you see him being...
Ask that again.
Did you see him being this good at the holidays with all the action he missed, with, you know, the limitations that were going to be on him? Is he like way ahead of what you thought, or where about you thought?
No, he has exceeded my expectations. And you catch me at different moments, I would say he has exceeded it at times by a lot. I think, you know, as we've talked about a lot, different parts of the game, you step back and you really sort of are surprised that a man of his size can make plays defensively and offensively with some mobility and toughness that we've seen. I think that we've seen a side of him from just a inner belief. Going to a free throw line doesn't faze him. You know, wanting the ball at the end of a game doesn't faze him. He sleeps fine at night with the comfort that he's talented, and he understands that, and he embraces wanting to take that next step on being great and the responsibility and opportunity he has with this organization and the time frame that we are all at. Like this is a perfect collision of all that responsibility and opportunity, and I think he really relishes that. And I'm excited to help lead him through that.
Is there a chance that you increase the minutes? How is that going? Originally you said Christmas, but then it was earlier, right?
I feel like everybody should bunker into that. This seems to be the plan, what we're on, and until somebody says anything differently, that's where my mind is at. 28 minutes is what we have and what we will try to make work. As I've said to you all candidly, when you study how to best sub him, you immediately go to how are you going to end with 5 minutes left in a game with him on the floor. Sometimes you even say with 6 minutes left. Rarely do you say with 4, but foul trouble can factor into that. Or just an unusual gut feel on his fatigue based on whatever. And so you just walk Joel's world backwards, you reverse engineer it. And 28 is the number, and that's the number that we'll take and make work.
His foul drawing numbers are already.
Say that one time.
His foul drawing numbers, as far as the amount of fouls he draws, they're super elite already. First off, from a team standpoint, how important is that to just have the opposing bigs in foul trouble a lot just because of him? And two, from his standpoint, is it nice to have a guy who can be efficient even when his shot isn't falling just because he's getting to the foul line so much?
Oh, fair. Let's go back to him getting fouled. He has a mentality that he likes contact. He invites contact. You don't find people that go flying into audiences as much as he does without an admission that he's not afraid of the physical side of kind of anything. And so now when he gets the ball at the block, go back and watch that play where Chris was on him, one of the first plays at Phoenix, where he just opened him up and dunked on it. So he's got that mindset to get to the rim and get fouled. And I think I even want it more. We all get nervous. Is he shooting too many threes? Is he floating on the perimeter too much? At times I think so too. I want him rolling out of pick and rolls more. But the fact is he has a gift and he likes to use it. And so it's a little bit of a challenge for me to walk that fine line down. We've all seen how he studies the game, and he's learned how to bait referees into I think it's one of the craziest NBA rules of that's even a foul. But it is. And so everybody in the league does it, and he's learned how to use it. And Duncan did it years ago, and Kobe did it. You're right. So everybody learns from each other, and now he's learned how to do that. And so that mindset, the ability to, pound at a block, tricks, get him to that line as you're mentioning. And I think to your second point, there is a reality that even when he's not doing that, his other layers of contribution and the ripple effects are real. I think we're going to see a higher level of what he really is when we get comfortable out of the post when they leave TJ. Tomorrow night, they're not going to guard TJ. We're going to throw it into Joel. They're going to run over with Rubio or Tristan. And okay, now what do you do? You got a space, you got to play, and what are his outlets? So Joel needs to be a willing passer, and we got to get to our floor spot so he can quarterback a gym. All over the place. When you ask that question, it's easy to answer it with those types of examples.
But how do you counter the Timberwolves so that what happened last time doesn't happen this time?
It's one of those games since it ended. Personally, you just can't wait to play them again. Our guys can't wait to play them again. That was zero reflection of who we are. We had a win. We flew in. It was a back-to-back. We didn't have, really the juice that I think that we all wanted. And that's for us, it's a very forgettable game. And so we look forward to competing. I felt like we were out-physical, out-athletic, in all ways. It's a word I just made up. It's, we got jumped, and I feel like that's just not us. And so we want to get back to playing the type of basketball I think we've been playing lately.
I don't know if you saw the picture of Joel, Tuesday, Nick, Nerlens, and Ben hanging out on New Year's Eve, provided that the activities were wholesome and everything. Do you kind of like that?
I love it. I am a I'm a social misfit. I live in my own little world and was not aware of that video. Tell me who was in it again?
TJ Nerlens, Joel, Ben,
TJ Nerlens, Ben.
Nick, and Joel.
That's fantastic. I mean, you know I like stuff like that. I feel like, in fact, I really like stuff like that. It just, you know how important it is to all of us to grow a continuity of family. And when you have people in and out, and people, futures are uncertain, you know, words end up cheap. We do it because I think we put in real time here and we work and they feel like they're getting better. To grow that type of thing off the floor is the holy grail. You combine that work that they're doing on the floor with some stuff where they interact and coexist. It's not the be-all or end-all, but it certainly helps. That stuff is very pleasing to me.
I think Joel spearheads up his personality. Does he spearhead a lot of this?
I think it's in him to do that. I don't know if that was it, but I think that he does have it in him to do that. And, you know, leaders are born. I think that he is a leader. I think leaders lead in many, many, many different examples, many different ways. And so his way is, you know, not like swinging a towel. He's not a big cheerleader, although he can be. I think he does it in his own sort of serious, cerebral way at times, and other times, you know, he's one of the boys. But I see a leader emerging in him.
What did you have Ben doing, or what did you want him to be doing while the team was away for so long?
It's a three-pronged attack. And yeah, it's a three-pronged attack. One is just normal health and recovery with a physiotherapist and nutritions and diets and those types of exercises to get his foot healthy. The other part is the breakdown of his shot, form shooting, going from, you know, in a wheelie thing, you know, to being on, you know, to being on 1 foot to now being on 2 foot, the growth of that. And then the final thing is just him with me, which he's been with a lot in a classroom. And so all those things, like while he's back here and we are not here, then some of those things happen, other parts don't. But you're going to start seeing him be integrated more and more as this new year is now upon us.
Coming into the year, when you had Nerlens and Ja and Joe, do you think, like, I got to find new ways to enter the ball and the post to these guys, whether it's a cross screen or whatever? Is that something you find yourself thinking about a lot?
Always.
Create passing lanes?
Always. You know, before Coach Majerus passed away, I spent a lot of time with him. He brought Andrew Bogut from Australia to University of Utah, and he was a hell of a coach. And he talked lots about, and he was a great college coach, you know, just about post feeds, post angles, post entries. You take some of those experiences with taking 12 years and watching how do you get the ball to, you know, the big Spurs players over my years. It became a real focal point of a skill package from the wings and the angles and the action to get them to a block, slashing them, cross screen, diving them, whatever. And all over the place, you know, you study it, you see what the player responds to the best, you study what side of the floor they like the best. You know, some people prefer the left side, some people prefer the right side, and you put them in their honey spot and you get them there how they feel most comfortable. Then you need perimeter people getting them the ball. Then you better space around it. It is an offense all by itself. And it's not, there are so many layers to just getting the ball to a post, then after, what do you do with it?